So starting in a seated position at the center of the mat. And I just want you to take pretzel legs. I've been teaching a lot of kids, so I'm calling this pretzel legs. And so now I'm using it in my adult classes too. So just make pretzel legs, pretty passive. Hands just touch onto the front of the knees and just sit up tall. And close your eyes if you can, just for a few moments. Allow yourself to just collect yourself, even if you feel like you can't collect yourself. Find your breath. Find a little bit of focus, even if that's what we can get today. Blink your eyes open. Stretch your arms straight up towards the sky. Good. Inhale the breath, lengthen up. Come halfway down. Flip the palms, and then just slide your palms forward. Let your head go. Good. Let the head go. With the kids, I actually have them using a block and letting their forehead rest. That's just another way to do it. If you feel like your neck is stiff, you just do that. Make this very passive. Keep your seat back on the mat. And then actively reach your arms forward. So your arms are already set up for kind of a down dog here, right? Ujjayi breath is the breath we're going to focus on. Inhale through the nose, through the back of your throat. Exhale is also through your nose, through the back of your throat. Do the best that you can. It's almost virtually impossible to keep that breath the entire practice. Pull yourself up right here. Keep your left leg bent, and your right leg's just going to come out in front. So it's just creating this shape right here. If you need a strap for today's practice, you may need this for this. Okay, grab the base of your foot, and we're just going to take a hamstring release, sitting up tall. If you just drove in your car cross country, I feel for you right here in this hamstring release. So breathe. Yeah. Draw the navel in. Now remember, when you stretch your hamstrings, it's your hamstrings connected to your low back, but we don't want to go into the lower back. So you have to just stretch your hamstring with as much flexibility as you can. Think about a standing leg raise. Let your shoulders draw down your back. Draw your belly in a little. And breathe. And so the strap, if you can't grab your foot, would just go obviously around, and you create the leverage here. Meaty part of the hamstring, even a little bit of the calf is getting a stretch here. Good. You're going to take your left hand on the outer edge of your right foot. Your right hand's going to come like a seated spine twist. The leg may need to drop for some of you or higher up. Begin to twist to the right, but keep the lift of the leg. If you can keep your left arm straight, ideally this is what we're going for. We're working into the IT band. Guys, these are simple exercises you can do when you can't get to a practice. Breathe. Once again, if the leg is not pinned straight, totally fine. Just do what you can. You can also use the strap. Pull around to center, look forward. Keep the leg lifted, okay? Bring your arms forward. So now you're working your core, not your lower back. If this is too much for your low back, just slide your hands back and create a lift of your upper torso, just like this. So finding some engagement of your lower belly, your arms slide forward, hold, lift it up a little higher. Rebend the leg. So you're just going to switch now, whatever leg was underneath, pretzel legs. Inhale the breath, stretch up. Lengthen first, and then come halfway down. I like to pause, flip the palms, get the shoulders in the right direction, and then slide. And if you need that block, you want to make this more restorative. The block goes underneath your forehead. Energetically reaching your arms and sliding them forward. So what you want to notice is if your seat is lifting up, you're coming too far into the pose. You want to keep yourself grounded. Feel the air as it smoothly slides to the back of your throat. So this is just a calming breath. Pull yourself up. Keep the bottom leg bent. Bring it a little closer to you for stability. Take your left leg, bend it in half. Grab the base of the foot or take the strap around and give yourself a hamstring release. Practice sitting up really tall. Flex your foot. If you can't grab the base of your foot on this side, use a towel, use a strap. You can even grab behind your thigh as an alternative. But think about a standing leg raise. That's the version when we stand up and do the leg out in front of us. Soften the shoulders down the back, draw the navel in. There's a lift of your ribs and your waist. and your dristis forward. Your dristi is your gaze. And just be patient. One side to the right side to left side of the body can be like two different countries. Keep the lift of the legs, switch the grip, take your hand behind you and begin to look. Good, and just play around with it. You know, if it's too intense, you may need to lift the leg higher, you may need to grab the outer part of the calf. Good, you may need to do this with a bent leg. This is another alternative if this isn't working for you. It's not one size fits all, so just begin to twist a little deeper. Gaze comes forward, keep the lift of the leg, try not to drop it. With your torso forward, arms reach forward. Yeah, really slide your arms forward, but lift your chest, lift your thigh. If it's too much, hands can slide back to create a lift. Another breath in, lift it up. Lower the foot to the floor. Bend both legs out in front of you. Slide your palms flat to the ground. Set yourself up for an amended boat pose to start our practice. Draw the navel in. I like the hands a little bit more forward. So slide them more forward towards your heels. Yes, because that's going to create the extension of the neck and the shoulders. Spine is long and lifted. Hands down, either palms flat or fingers tented. Lift the legs up, create a 90-degree angle. Flex the feet. So if this isn't great, Dara, for low back, you can come down onto your forearms and take it like this, or just skip the whole thing and just sit up like this. This is another option if lower back is sensitive this morning. Do what you can. Keep the hands down. Draw the thigh bones a little closer to you. Lift the chest up a little bit higher. Good. Keep the lift of the legs. They're bent at a 90-degree angle. You're going to take your hands up. You're going to take them into a prayer straight forward. Straight forward in prayer. Flex your toes. Draw your arms to the right. Just your arms and your torso take a little twist. Draw your thighs closer to you. Come back to center. Pause. Take the arms a little to the left. Yes, just the upper torso is taking a little twist. The abdominal wall is working. Again, through center. Lift up higher, over to the right. More breath. Come through center, over to the left. Good. One more time. Through center, over to the right. Lift up higher. Through center, over to the left. Good. Through center, grab the outsides of your feet and extend your legs up. If you can't grab the outsides of your feet, grab the backs of your thighs. It would look like this, chest lift. You can also hook the big toes. Hold. Inhale the breath. Lift the torso. Exhale the breath. Get your thighs closer to you. Inhale your breath. Reach your arms forward, boat Navasana. Yes. Take another big breath in. Cross your ankles, plant your palms, step to a downward facing dog. So arrive into your first dog of the day. Right. There may be plenty of dogs around in your house, but first dog on your mat with your body. Hands are about the width of the mat. Feet are about hips width. Head hangs heavy and soft. Plug down into the mat. Spread your toes wide. Let your thigh bones drift back. Yeah. So go ahead and bend your knees in half, actually. Bend them in half so they hover the ground. Firm up your outer arms. Let your shoulders broaden. And then very slowly, keeping the lift of the hips, keep lifting the hips and then start to straighten your legs as much as they're going to go today. Spread the toes wide. Let the head go. And then pick something to focus on. It's kind of the hardest part sometimes. Pick one little spot, your dristi point, to just kind of tune into. Make sure you're using the outer part of your hand just as much as your thumb and your index finger. That's going to help you plug down into the mat. Use your outer arms to grip the mat. Roll forward to a plank. Stack your body nicely. If you need to rearrange this and kind of take a little bit of a longer stance, that's fine. Your gaze comes to the front edge of your mat. You can always drop your knees and simplify things with your knees to the floor to modify. Not a problem at all. Hug into the center line of your body. Grip the outer arms in. Contract the thigh bones. Hug the outer arches and the inner arches of everything together. Your ankle bones even hug in. Keep looking forward. When you think of your breath, think about it as moving from the crown of your head all the way through your heels and then vice versa. Press a little bit more into the ground. Feel your hands firm up. Feel your thighs firm up. Keep your gaze forward. Take another big breath. Stay with this. Either keep this plank or drop your knees or bend your elbows for a chaturanga. See if you can hold your chaturanga. Knees can drop. Feel the weight in your thumb, your index finger, your baby finger. Re-straighten your arms to a plank position. Do it slow. Take a downward facing dog, hips press back. Let your head go. So take the judgment out of the practice and just go with what feels good for today. Roll forward to a plank position. Let your weight transfer you forward. You may need to modify everything or skip things. Bend your elbows in half, chaturanga or support, or just hold plank. Draw your waist up, re-straighten your arms to a plank position. Take a downward facing dog, hips press back. One more time, roll forward to a plank. Let your weight transfer you forward, your gaze move forward. I'd rather you hold plank than take a crappy chaturanga. So decide what works. Bend your elbows, chaturanga. Re-straighten your arms to a plank. Downward facing dog, hips press back. Good. Walk your hands back to your feet at the back of the mat. Good. And fold over your legs. Let your head go. Grab opposite elbows, so just a basic ragdoll. Let your head just drop. Lift your hips up. Bend behind your knees as much as you need to. Feel your feet on the floor, but more importantly, feel your weight shift forward into the front parts of your feet, the balls of your feet, so we can get out of our hamstrings. Let the head just detach down. And just reconnect. If you have elbows hooked or down towards the ground in a ragdoll, just switch the grip. Just switch opposite elbows and just drape yourself a little bit more as you forward fold. Good. Release your hands, plant your palms. Start to bring your gaze a little forward, but with your feet down as long as you can. Creep back out to a downward facing dog. So really think about strengthening your legs, firming up the legs, the contraction of your thighs around your knees. Obviously, the heels may pop up at some point. That is fine. Come back to down dog. Now roll forward to a plank. Very slowly bend your elbows to a chaturanga. Pause. With your gaze a little forward, pull yourself to a slow up dog. If you're taking that, or a cobra, point your toes. Take a downward facing dog from your hips up and back. Look to the front edge of your mat. Step your right foot forward to the top of the mat. Step your left foot to meet it. Feet come together. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms, just keeping things simple this morning. Stretch your arms straight up towards the sky. You can gaze softly up. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Bend your legs as much as you need this morning. Come to the fingertips, long spine. That's going to prepare the body. Plant your palms. Take 2 big steps back to a plank. When you arrive in your plank, firm up the sides of your body. Bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga. Do this slow. Drag your chest and your heart through for an up dog. Fire up your thighs, point your toes. Good. Downward facing dog, hips press back. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep breath out, leave it behind. Look to the top of the mat. You can just land your left foot forward this time and your right foot to meet it. Come to the fingertips, long spine, or hands to your shins. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Energetically reach. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Drop your arms by your side body. Stretch your arms up, reach big. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine to prepare. Plant your palms. Left foot takes a giant step back. Right foot joins in a plank. Bend your elbows for chaturanga. Make sure you're not dropping or sinking your hips. Pull yourself through a nice, slow, deliberate up dog. Feel what you're doing. Take a downward facing dog, hips press back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Look where you want to go. You can step or you can float. Depends how you feel this morning. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold over your legs. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag your hands to prayer at heart. Keep going, arms up. Link your breath with your movement. Dive over bent knees, forward folds. Come to the fingertips, long spine. 2 big steps, or if you choose to float, land with bent elbows, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, fire up your thighs. Downward facing dog, hips press back. Allow yourself to just arrive into the practice. Press down, look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Make it easy. Long spine, weight is forward. Folds in half. Root to rise, come all the way up. drag your hands to prayer. Let's do one more. They feel good. Stretch up, go big. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step or float through vinyasa. Upward facing, downward facing dog, hips press right back. Roll forward to plank. The honeymoon's over. Hug the right knee in, draw it close to you. Round your spine. See if you can take your right knee towards your forehead and kind of hollow out your belly. So your back leg is really engaged. Your right leg is drawing in. You're rounding your spine. You're firming up your outer arms. Keep hugging it a little tighter. And then look forward a tad and step your right foot forward and through. Get it all the way up there. Walk it to the right a little, be on your fingertips. Drop your back knee on an angle. Good. Sweep your arms out and up. I'm going to keep my toes curled into the mat this morning. Energize your arms towards the sky. It's just a supported lunge. And so there's a difference with having the leg on an angle and having the leg straight up and down. I want the leg on an angle, but you want to make sure that your right knee tracks over your ankle to keep the safety of the joint. Stretch up with your arms. Good. Take a big breath in. Ground your right foot. Feel the outer blade of your right glute and hip hug in. Take your left hand down to the ground. Begin to take your right arm, not straight up because it's going to feel kind of jammed up. Right arm back towards the back side of your mat. Just be here. If reaching down with your left hand feels difficult, you can always slide a block underneath your hand. I want the right arm straight back, the palm facing the sidewall. If you can bring your gaze to the right a little and begin to look back, that's great. What we don't want is our right leg completely winging out. Hug that hip and that glute in. Lengthen and rinse. Good. Begin to bring your gaze forward. Both hands frame your front foot. Now your weight moves back. So my left thigh is going to go up and down, and I'm going to flex my foot. I'm going to lean with my chest and create a little up dog with my upper shoulder blades. Yeah, to be on tented fingertips. If you have 2 blocks, you can always place them underneath your hands. Breathe into the meaty part of your hamstring. Keep the back toes curled. It's going to take some of the pressure out of the knee. Stay with this. Rebend the front thigh, 90-degree angle. The fingertips are going to line up with your toes. Back knee is going to now lift, and the right hip is going to swing back leg strong. You know, you can always opt out of this and keep the knee down. Good. So from here, hands are going to come behind your head, just like this. If this is not available to you today, just reach your arms back alongside your body. I'm just trying to give you some other options to work on. Good. Hands clasped behind your head. Elbows want to come close. I want you to do the opposite. Wing your elbows open. There you go. So you get a broadening of your chest. The lift of the side body and your ribs. Press down through your right heel. Begin to lift your chest up. Crescent lunge with your hands behind your head. Breathe into the sides of your body. Let your elbows open. Good. Sit a little deeper. Stretch your arms straight up towards the sky. Back leg strong. Right hip grips in. Left arm extends forward. Right arm begins to reach back. Begin this twist from above the belly button. Right arm reaches towards the back wall, towards the heel. Left arm slides forward. Bend into your front thigh. Scissor the hips in. Begin to look a little more right or towards the back. Another big breath in. Begin to bring your drishti towards your left fingertips. Left hand down, right arm up, easy twist. Same thing goes with your hips. Grip them in. Stack the 2 shoulder blades up and down. Feel the right heel press into the floor. Activate your back leg more. Palm up, look up. Keeping your right arm lifted if you can. Drishti moves towards the ground. Left palm goes flat. We're rolling into inside plank here. Modify with your bottom knee. You can slide the 2 feet in front of one another. You can stack on top. Right arm extends up towards the ceiling. Lift from your bottom hip. Spark up your toes. Make sure your right hip isn't swinging open. It's stacked directly on top of your bottom hip. Lift a little higher. Look towards the sky. Grip your left tricep and bicep in on your left arm. I'll get in a little tighter. Good. Now keep all that, look down, plank position. Pause in your plank. Aren't we having fun? Bend your elbows, chaturanga. Keep your gaze just a tad forward. Re-straighten your arms to a plank. Good. Left knee hugs in around your spine. Remember, you want to scoop out your tummy, activate your back leg, and see if you can take your knee closer towards your two biceps. Hollow out your abdominal wall more. Keep your gaze drawing a little forward. Yeah. And then go ahead and glide your left foot forward and through. Be on your fingertips for a moment. Drop your back knee for me. Keep the thigh bone on an angle and the toes curled. Good. Then from here, you're going to bring your arms up easy into a supported lunge. So step by step, we move. Back knee is not jamming into the floor. It's on an angle. Left ankle is tracking directly underneath the knee. Good. Lift from your chest. Hip points are forward. Right hand's going to come down. Left arm's going to peel back. So begin to look towards that back wall. Wrap your left thigh underneath you. You can always slide a block underneath your right hand. So the twist isn't happening from your hand. The twist is happening from things that are closest to your spine, which is your ribs. Your upper ribs are twisting. Begin to bring your gaze towards your big left toe, left fingertips down. So you're going to slide your right leg up and down and flex your foot. Your weight just moves back a little. Keep the hands tented. See if you can create a little up dog in your chest. Breathe into the fleshy part of your hamstring. Yeah. That's where we want the true stretch. Good. Move the weight back forward into the front heel. Bring your fingertips to match with your big toes. Activate your back leg. Squeeze your hips in. Pause for a second. Yes. So knowing that you got to use your leg strength here, go ahead and take your hands behind your head. Steer your left hip back. Activate your back leg. Hands behind the head isn't working out. Just reach back with your arms and make them active. Wrap your elbows back so you get an opening of your chest. Begin to lift your chest up into a lunge with your hands behind your head. Look forward. Feel the sides of the body as they open. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a huge chest opener here, so breathe. Sit deeper into your front left heel. Squeeze your inner and outer thighs together. Slide the elbows up towards the sky. The fingertips reach towards the ceiling. Keep sitting. Now take your right arm forward towards the front skinny edge of your mat. Left arm peels back. Take things in steps. Twist from above the belly button. Right arm kind of wants to lead, so practice on really reaching with that back arm. Scissor the inner and outer thighs together, sit a little deeper. If you weren't awake, this should be waking you up right here. Bring your gaze to the front edge of your mat. Right hand tense to the instep of your left foot. Left arm extends up. You can always drop your back knee if it's too much. These look really good, guys. Stack the two shoulder blades. Grip your left hip and glute underneath you. Look to the floor, right palm goes flat. You find your way into a version of Vashisthasana side plank. I'm showing another option here with my right leg strong and straight and my left leg bent in half. You can also stagger the feet, such as this, or stack the 2 feet. Bottom hip's doing a lot of work. Lift up from there and then look up. More breath. Look to the floor, take both hands down. Separate your feet to their hips with distance. Lower halfway to a chaturanga. Good, pull yourself to an up dog. Take a downward facing dog, hips pressed back. Land your right foot forward, turn your back foot onto its side. Steer your right hip back, grip the ground and come up warrior 1. Out and up with your arms or straight up, it's up to you. Subtly turn your left hip and ribs forward towards the front skinny edge of your mat and steer your right hip back. There should be a strong angle with your back left foot. That's ideal. Stretch up with your arms, look up just a little bit. You never want to drop your neck back. Hands to frame your front foot, vinyasa or not, it's up to you what you're looking for today. Upward facing. Downward facing, you can skip all of them if you care to. Left foot forward, back foot onto an angle, root, and then rise. Come up with control. Use the outer blade of your back foot. The strength comes from that back leg. Feel the muscles around the quadricep really firing up. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Align yourself properly. Bend your elbows. Upward facing. Downward facing, be still. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine on the inhale breath. Exhale, fold. Sit into a chair pose. Weight goes into your heels. Spread your arms up. Let your seat move back, your thighs move back. Your chest open a little, and from your elbows to your fingertips, straighten your arms. You got this. Look forward. Press up into your legs to stand. Draw your hands to prayer. Drop your arms. You're just going to take 3 beats together. Stretch your arms straight up. Lower your seat into a chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Step or float through your vinyasa. If you're going to float, remember, land with chaturanga arms. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Land your right foot forward. Turn your back foot onto its side. Warrior one. Not too fast. It's not too slow. It's just right for you. Hands come down. Plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. Left foot forward. Back foot onto its side. Warrior one. Hands to the floor. Plank position. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing dog. Hips press back. Press into the mat. Look to the front edge of your mat. Step or float your feet there. Long spine on the inhale. Weight is forward. Exhale, fold. Sit again into a chair. Weight goes into your heels. Good. Sit a little deeper. We're just going to flow them, guys. Fold over your legs. Come to the fingertips. Long spine. Set it up through a vinyasa. Upward facing. Downward facing. Keep moving. Right foot forward. Back foot on an angle. Warrior one. Hands come down. Plank, chaturanga. You can just think about it and skip it. Upward facing. Some days I just completely skip them. Left foot forward, back foot on an angle, warrior one. I'm just like not in the mood. I don't want to do a push-up. I get it. Hands come down, plank position. Chaturanga. Upward facing. Downward facing. That's the thing I noticed in my practice the most in the past 20 years of practicing. When I was 20, I wanted to do everything. Like any option you gave me, I did. Now at 41, I'm like, I'm going to take all the options that are basic. Press down, look where you want to go. Step or float, feet to the top. Long spine, fold over your legs, sit into a chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, step or float, vinyasa or not. Upward facing, make it feel good. Downward facing dog. Right foot lands, back foot onto its side, warrior one. Last one. Hands come down. Plank should have you set up for a nice chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing. Last time. Left foot forward, back foot onto its side, warrior one. Hands come down to a plank. Bend your elbows. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Good. Look in between your hands and just step your right foot smack in between your hands. Now turn your back foot onto its side and circle open to warrior two. Grab my block and have it a little closer. Warrior 2 feet. Yeah, and bring yourself up, nice and big. Open up your arms. So you can use like a fancy mat, has a line across the center. You can use the front edge of your mat, the back edge of your mat if you're not sure if you're lining up, but it should be heel to arch or heel to heel. Reach across your body with your arms. Yeah. You know what feels really good? Let's do this today. Bring your arms forward. So my arms are going straight towards you, towards the camera. Yeah, straight forward. Wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. Yeah, so eagle the arms and then lift your elbows up. Now, turn up the inner part of your right thigh to the outer part of your right baby toe. And what I mean by that is that you don't want your knee turning in. You want to externally rotate it out. Keep your left leg on a strong angle. The side of your waist is long. Your tailbone drops. Now, rather than tugging on your shoulders, lift them up a little so you get more of a stretch. And then just pause here, just a few breaths. You can even close your eyes. Rather than feeling like you're clenching the ground or clenching your muscles, allow your body just to drop into it. Unravel your arms straight up, like you're holding something over the top of your head. And then from your shoulders, drop your arms straight down, so now parallel to the mat. Keep sitting into your front leg. Reach out, rest your hand on the outer part of your foot. Use a block. Place it any direction that works for you. If you choose to opt for the modified version, it looks like this. Arm rests on the top of your thigh. You're getting just as much from this. So just a matter of preference. Left arm stretches up. Start with that. Check in with your back foot. It's hard for me to see a lot of the feet, so just make sure it's angled to the front skinny edge of your mat a little, and your back thigh is on an angle. Left arm can wrap forward if you want more. It's up to you. If your arm comes in front of your face, you're kind of in trouble, so just stretch up. And then look off the left armpit up towards the sky. Grip your right hip under you. Turn up your right rib, so your belly turns from right to left towards the ceiling. How can you get a little lighter in this pose? Yeah, and maybe that's backing out. Stay with it. Everyone's feeling something similar. Breathe through the back of your throat, and on the exhale, see if you can hang with it. Left arm slides straight up. Begin to look down. Your left hand may need to come to your hip. Move your block out in front of you to the front skinny edge of your mat, off to the right a little, about 6 to 8 inches, half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. Left arm can extend back up. Yeah. This is another one of those that we can't really see what your body is like. So lift from your inner thigh, spark up your left toes, and try and find lightness in the posture. If you're dying for a Chopasana, reach back with your left hand, bend at your knee crease. Your hand and your foot should make a nice marriage. And then the kick goes behind you, not up towards the sky. So it's a true psoas release. And then maybe get lighter in your bottom hand. Come to 3 fingers, 2 fingers. Maybe you want to rest your hand on the upper part of your shin, but soften behind your knee if you're going to do that. Keep turning your bottom ribs open towards the sky and look up a little. Another breath. Release the top leg if you took a bind, half moon. Good. Look to the floor, bring your left hand down and square your hips. Good. Take both fingertips down. So you're going to take your left foot and rather than landing the feet together, you're going to crisscross at your shins, the bottom of your ankles. So my left foot went in front of my right. My baby toes are together, but my heels are separated. Come to the fingertips, bend behind your knees, and then fold. Yes. This feels really good. So we're going to walk our hands a little bit to the right. Okay, just a little bit to the right. Yeah, but when you do that, keep your hips directly over your heels. You don't want to move your whole body. So it's just subtle. And then walk your hands through center. And actually, I want you to go the other direction too. I want you to walk a little to the left. You may get a little bit more distance on this side. And if you don't, that's okay. Good. Come back to neutral. All you need to do is unravel your feet so they line up side by side and sit into a chair pose. Stretch your arms straight up. Yeah. Slide your hands to prayer at heart. Inhale the breath, hook the elbow, turn to the right. 2 knees line up, your feet line up nicely. Your seat moves back, your waist is long, and the crown of the head continues to just move forward. Good, and you do what you can. And you may feel that you have more opening in your upper body right now. And if you do, open up your arms. And if you don't, just stay here. What helps a lot is to look. Look a little right, and then maybe look a little up. And then come back to your breath. Keep the weight in your heels, keep the legs together and the knees lined up, pull around to chair, look forward. Sit a little deeper here. Yes, dive over bent knees, forward fold. Come to the fingertips, long spine, plant your palms, 2 big steps or a light float through your vinyasa, make it feel good. Upward facing pulls you through. Downward facing presses you back. So from your downward facing dog, just glide your left foot forward, smack in between your hands, turn your back foot on its side, and cartwheel open warrior 2. Remember, strong angle with your back foot. You don't want your foot parallel, it's turned in a little bit. Arms energetically reach across. So just settle in for a few breaths before we move on. If you notice your whole body kind of moving forward, do your best work to straighten out your torso, turn up the inner thigh. Bring your arms directly forward towards me. Make sure your whole body doesn't round. Wrap your right arm underneath your left arm. Lift your elbows up. Feel the weight in your heel. Drop the thigh bone down, anchor your right leg, sit a little deeper. Close your eyes, 5 breaths. Don't hold me to that. Just an estimation. Rather than feeling like you need to go somewhere in the pose, just allow yourself to be right here, wherever that is. Keep the shape of your legs. Just unravel your arms straight towards the sky. Reach up really high with your arms, and then let your arms just drop down so they're parallel. Begin to bring your gaze forward and tip your torso. Left hand's gonna come to the outer blade of your foot. Arm can also just rest on the top of the thigh. Any block with any angle with your block, top arm up, wrap your right arm forward if you want more. What you don't want is a collapsion. So you wanna stay really lifted. Spin your bottom left ribs from left to right towards the ceiling. Grip your left hip underneath you. That's the hardest part for me personally. Yeah, so take that glute and not let it stick out. Tuck it underneath you. Soften your left shoulder and get lighter in the pose. Breathe. If you're starting to feel like, oh, I can't hold this much longer, good. Focus on your right leg. Press more through the blade of your right leg, through your right quadricep and the side body. Take your right arm up if it's forward. Hand to your hip, look down, keep your left foot forward, stay close to the floor, float to your half moon. No, you can always take it to the wall too. You can lean against a wall. Good. Find your balance here. Maybe the arm rests alongside your body. Maybe the arm can extend up. Keeping that left foot forward is the most challenging part. Soften a little behind your knee. If you want to move to the Chopasana, that's up to you. Right arm reaches back, bend at your knee crease, grab your ankle. The kick goes behind you. Look over your right shoulder. If you took a bind, slowly release the right leg and the right arm. Next stop here is look down, right hand comes to the floor. You square your hips, pause. So we're gonna crisscross at your ankles. Your right ankle is going in front of your left. Yeah. And for most of us, the baby toes can touch and there's a separation between your heels. Come to the fingertips, long spine, bend behind your knees, and then fold. And then if you want to add a little more, start to walk your hands a little left. Walk a little left first. You're not leaning, you're just walking your hands a little. Good work. Walk the hands through center and then explore by walking the hands a little right. I know here I can get a little deeper, but it also feels more significant. So if you feel it in that deep hip, that's your TFL. Yeah, let the head go. Good. Unravel to center. Just unwrap your feet so they slide side by side. And then one last time here, sit into a chair. Weight in your heels. Drag your hands to a prayer. Inhale the breath. Stay with this and twist to the left. Weight stays back. Yeah. Crown of the head moves forward. And it's challenging, but it should feel really efficient and effective in your body. If you want to open up your arms, give it a go. If not, just stay with this. Good. Nice work. Keep the shape of your legs, pull around to chair pose, look forward, recommit, lift your chest, draw the weight more back, weight in your heels, sit a little deeper, press up to stand, draw your hands to prayer. Stand up tall, just relax for a second, feel the thigh bones draw back, get yourself together. Stand on your right leg, hug your left knee in. Good. Two options here. You're gonna go ahead and grab below the kneecap, or you're gonna crisscross at your ankle and grab the base of your foot. It's gonna look like this. So my hands are crisscrossed, just like my feet were crisscrossed. Yeah, this could be where you stay, but what I want you to practice, if you're just gonna stay here, is really standing up tall. So seeing if you can take the round out of your back, draw your navel in, contract your right thigh bone. Good. If you feel that you have the energy and the artful skill to hinge your leg forward, give that a whirl. If you fall, that's all right. Shoulders back though. Left leg most likely won't go hinge straight. Yeah. Draw the waist up. Press through the standing right leg, draw the right thigh bone back. Keep the right hand on the outer part of that left ankle, outer part of that foot, and then begin to peel the arm back. This is called dancing Shiva. Now, if this is unavailable, just take this with a bent leg. That would look like this. Keep the strong flex of the leg. This is just as challenging. If you don't have the range of motion, don't force your body there. So just like we started early in the practice, lengthen the torso, broaden the chest, and reach back with your left arm. Nice work. Stay with it. Keep the lift of the leg. Begin to bring your gaze forward. Keep the leg lifted if you can. Bring both arms up. Bring both arms up. Lift up a little higher. Yeah. Lower the left foot down. Slide your hands to your hips. All I need you to do is slide your left foot back now and walk your right foot over to the right. So it's about 3 feet between your feet. Good. Work out the position. We're going into a twisting triangle, but I'm taking you in a different way. So from here, I want you to keep your hips forward, right hand on hip, left arm extends forward. Just extend your left arm forward. Keep steering your right hip back. Begin to look right. That's the next step. Then from here, steer your hips back. Focus on your back leg. Take your right arm back. So you might get here and you're like, this is actually unbelievable. I'm going to stay up really high today and just work on the strength of my legs and really getting my body to stay elevated and lifted. So take another breath here. If you'd like to move into the twisting triangle, you don't need a block today. Just rest your left hand on the front of your right shin and slide your right arm up. Keep anchoring your feet into the mat, steering your hips back. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot more space and very grounded. Press into the floor, gaze up. Focus on that back leg. Keep using that strength. Steer the hips back, Lift the waist and twist. Another big breath in. Look to the floor, place both hands down and just fold. And in this fold, most likely you have to bend your right knee. Nice work, guys. Come to the fingertips, long spine. Just go ahead and step your left foot forward to meet your right. Bring your hands to your hips and pull yourself up. Wasn't that fun? Stand on your left leg. So we're going to do it in steps. You do what you can. Draw the right knee in. Grab below the kneecap if this is where you're choosing to stay today. Or crisscross at your wrists. If you can remember which way you went, do the opposite. Stay here, hugging that knee in, grounding your left leg and thigh, pulling your shoulders back so you're standing up tall, and then give it a whirl and see if you can hinge the leg forward. So do this much first, or keep the knee bent. So from here, we're going to move to the dancing Shiva. So my hand's going to stay on the outer blade of my foot, or I'm going to go ahead and bend my leg and take this with a bent knee. Right arm begins to reach back. Get over the idea of having a pin straight right leg. Stand up a little taller. Reach back a little more. So finding that balance right here. Another big breath in. Stay with it. Begin to bring your gaze forward. Keep the leg lifted, even if you need to bend it at a 90-degree angle, arms up. Lift from your core. Slide the arms up a little higher. Slide your right foot down to the floor. Bring your hands to your hips. I want to do it this way so it's safer. Right foot back about 3 feet. Walk the left foot over to the left. Keep your left hand on your hip. Pause here. Keep sliding your left hip back. Right arm reaches forward like we're shaking hands. Do this much first. Anchor the legs. Left arm begins to peel back. Good. Stay really upright today. If your lower back is sensitive, this is a better spot to be. Right. Anchor the legs, anchor the hips. Begin to lean and place your right hand on your shin. Stack the 2 shoulder blades, or you can always have your hand on the flat part of your back. Debbie, it looks really good. Yeah. Seat and weight back. Now, for the last few breaths, focus on your back leg. Yeah, press the blade of your back foot down and then contract the thigh bone. Nice, Kareen. Beautiful job, guys. Take another big breath in. Look to the floor and just fold. Fold into that front leg and bend your knee. Plant the palms to the floor. From here, just step to a down dog. When you arrive in a downward facing dog, roll forward to a plank position, bend your elbows in half to a chaturanga, drag your chest through an up dog, point your toes, take a downward facing dog. From your down dog, glide your right foot forward, come up into crescent lunge on the right side. Reach your arms out and up. Bring your hands to prayer at heart. Same thing goes here. You don't have to open your arms. I just want you to look right and begin to turn. Good. Once you get that movement, then you're going to lean and hook the elbow to the outside of the thigh. Know what you need here. Maybe the hand needs to come to the instep of the foot. Maybe you need to drop your back knee. It's up to you. Scissor the thighs together. This is not always the most received, welcoming posture, but after everything we've done, it should feel pretty good to get here. Lean back a little. Get the crown of the head to line up with your left heel. Scissor the outer hips together. Activate your left hamstring and glute, and maybe open up your arms. Some of you may even want to wrap your hand around and take a half bind, or Jody, go for the full bind. I don't know how loose you feel, but you can go for the full bind now. We've prepped for it. Nice work. And if you're not going to the full bind, don't worry, you're not missing anything. Breathe. They've now made themselves into a pretzel. Lean back a little, stay with it. If you bound your arms, come out slow. Look to the floor, place both hands down and pause. Like we started the practice, drop your back knee down. Keep the toes curled into the mat, or this time you could relax the foot. Today's version of this, turn your right foot out to the corner edge of your mat. So my right foot goes on an angle. Yes. My left palm's gonna come flat, my right arm's gonna reach back. This time I'm gonna bend my knee up and grab my foot. If you'd like to come down onto your forearm, you can. Now, for some of you, you may feel more support in your leg to have your right foot flat. Others of you who would like to work a little deeper, roll to the outer blade of your right foot, yes, and let your right thigh drop open. So I'm staying really upright today. You may want to even slide a block underneath your hand, but some of you can come down onto your forearm. In today's version, we're twisting. Look to the right, look back. Keep letting your right thigh drop open. Another breath. Let go of your back foot slowly. Bring your right hand around. Pivot your right foot forward and start to lean back. This time I'm going to take my block with me. I'm not a great Hanumanasana. If you have a split pose, you're welcome to go for it. The option I'm going for, I'm actually going to turn the camera so you can see. The block is going to go right underneath the edge of my sitting bone. Right. My ankle of my left foot is lined up directly next to it. My two knees are lined up together. I'm sitting upright. Arms are going to stretch up. I will then come forward and fold. Hanumanasana split pose for those of you that want to do that. I can take a look and see if I can see anything. Nice. All right, getting out's the hardest part, always, in life. Bend your front leg, move any objects out of the way, and then all you need to do is step back to a downward facing dog. When you arrive in your down dog, decide what you need. Maybe you need to just hold for a breath or two. Maybe you need to move through vinyasa. Up dog could feel good. Downward facing dog, hips pressed back. Land your left foot forward. Activate the leg strength and come up, crescent lunge. Bring your hands to prayer. Stay upright for a second. Just begin to turn a little to the left. Yeah, so if back is bad, you stay upright. If you're ready to move on, start to lean, hook the elbow, and take your twist. Drop your back knee if you need support. Smile, guys. You know that expression, smile, you're on camera. Well, you really are. There you go. Good. Back leg strong. Open up your arms if you feel good. And then work into that half bind or full bind if you care to. Okay, so when you bind, Joe, so see, now think about leaning back a little. Crown of the head is going to think about it lining up with your back right heel. And keep steering your left hip and glute back. A few more breaths. Two more. It gets good at the end. Start to unravel. Look down, take both hands to the floor and pause. Drop your back knee, slide the knee back. You can relax the foot or keep the toes curled. It's up to you. Turn your left foot out on an angle. Right hand's going to go flat or to a block. Left arm will reach back. You'll grab your foot. Begin to roll to the outer blade of your left foot. If that feels appropriate for you, the thigh bone will drop open. Drop down to your right forearm if you want more. Two more. Let go of your foot. Take both hands down. Pivot your left foot straight. Move your block with you if you know you need it. Start to slide your seat back. Remember what I taught you. Block underneath your left sitting bone just a little bit, going the long ways. Two knees line up. Arms reach up. So you're really upright and you begin to come forward. Hanumanasana split pose. For those of you who can get into it. Good. Come up nice and slow. So you're gonna move that block out of the way. We're almost done, guys. Rebend your front thigh, plant your palms. I just want you to come onto your knees to a tabletop position and then stand up on your knees in the middle of your mat. Curl your toes into your mat. Place your hands on your low back. Hug your elbows together. Inhale the breath. Think about your thighs moving forward and your chest lifting up. Begin to bring your gaze up. Don't worry about dropping your neck back if that doesn't feel good. This is the back bend for a lot of you. Inhale the breath, press the thigh bones forward, lift the chest. And then if you can move on, maybe your hands slide down the backs of the thighs. Maybe they reach to the heels, or you can just stay really upright. Slingshot the thighs forward and practice hugging the shoulder blades in. That's good, Deb. Right there is a good spot. Inhale the breath. This is a back bend. Yes. Exhale, hips forward. Good. If you're reaching for your feet, arms are straight, chest is lifted. Take another big breath in. To come out of the pose, slide your hands to your low back. Pause for a second, and then just sit down on your heels. Sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Good. One more. Stand on your knees. Tops of the shins can be down or toes can be curled. Inhale your breath. If you have two blocks, guys, I don't know what you have at home. They can also come right to the sides of your calves, and you can use those, and I'll show you what I mean. Inhale the breath, lift my heart and chest first, and then I'll start to slide my hands down the backs of my thighs. Then maybe my hands will rest on these blocks. Inhale, this is going to give me support to stay up out of my low back and really work on the back bend safely. Look a little towards the ceiling. Press the thighs forward, anchor. Inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale, hips forward. One more, stay with it. Hands to the lower back safely and slowly lower your seat down. Good. From here, curl your toes into the mat, downward facing dog. When you look to the front edge of your mat, hop, skip, float, fly, find your way to lay down. When you hit the floor, just the final few touches here, bend your knees, feet go flat. 2 more back bends on your back, and we will be done. Okay, use a block underneath your tailbone if you prefer, any direction. Underneath that low back, you can clasp your hands, puff open your chest and shoulders, anchor your feet. Bridge pose, supported bridge pose. Yeah, make sure the feet aren't too wide. That's what ends up happening here. Exhale the breath, take a breath in, and then come out on the exhale. And if you're on a block, you chose very wisely, just stay. You're gonna take one more. For those of you that would like to go into a full wheel, flip your palms. Bring your chin to your chest. Take a giant breath in. Exhale your breath, lift yourself up. If it's not for you, just stay. Just stay where you are. Really nice, Kristen. Turn the feet just a tad forward. And then from your inner thighs, wrap the thighs under. Good, Kareen, you know what to do. Lift those legs up. Perfect. And think about legs up the wall. Beautiful job. To come out of the pose, tuck your chin, Kristen, and then lower down. Nice. For those of you that are on a block, okay, or yes, with your legs straight up, bend your knees in half, take your feet flat to the floor. And then once your feet come down, that's when you'll remove the block out and lower your tailbone to the ground. Good. So you're gonna go ahead and just grab the outer edges of your feet once your low back hits the floor for a happy baby. Pull the knees down around the rib cage. Lengthen the tailbone. Broaden the upper shoulder blades to the mat. Keep the neck long. Good. And then take your feet back to the width of the mat, like wide with your feet, okay? And then lift your hips up a little. Bring your feet a little closer towards your butt. And then with your feet wide, drop your knees to the right. So with your feet are wide, your knees go to the right. So it's like one leg is out a little further and this thigh is getting a little bit of a different stretch. And then your left hand can come behind your head and you take a spine twist this way. You can even take your right ankle and rest on the top of your left IT band or thigh bone. That's going to give you more of a stretch. Good. Roll up to center. Keep the feet the width of the mat. The goal is to bring your feet a little closer,
lift your hips to the right and then swing your knees to the left. So the knees are split apart. Right hand's gonna come behind you. Your left ankle can now rest on the top of your right thigh. And this is gonna give you a little bit of a different supine twist. Good. Slowly bring yourself back up to center. Give your knees a solid squeeze in towards your chest. And then from here, stretch your legs forward. Set yourself up for Shavasana. I don't know where you all are practicing. It looks like different places. So slide something underneath your head. Take your bathrobe, throw it over you, palms face up. Let go of the Ujjayi breath and enjoy. Take a big breath in. Take a complete, loud, full exhale breath out. Let it go. Arms reach up over the top of the head. There's a little person in the room. Reach for them. Hug your knees to your chest. Give a big squeeze. And in your own way and own time, pull yourself up if you feel ready to a seated position. Sit up really tall in your body. So enjoy the feeling that you have in your body after a really good practice. Let your hands come to a prayer. Have some closure, have some gratitude that you're able to do this and move. Lift your head, open your eyes. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon. Stay cool.